Hi, my name is Danny Brown. I'm the CEO of Myriad Real Estate Group, and this is our September market update. So interest rates below. They are up around 6% right now as of this recording. Jerome Powell came out last week at Jackson Hole and announced how the Fed was going to continue to be extremely hawkish, that they were going to continue to raise rates to stifle inflation. So what ended up happening was when the Fed came out and increased rates by 75 basis points, they came out with some language that made the market think that they were going to start to pivot because inflation started to come down. And so the market got ahead of itself. Mortgage rates came down, the stock market rallied off the bottoms, and consumer sentiment right now is actually up because of the language that was used. Well, that really ticked off the Fed. The Fed does not want to see the stock market rally. They do not want to see mortgage rates come down and demand for housing tick back up. They won't come out and say it, and they danced around it in this last conversation, but they really want employment to come up, and they really want to push us into a recession. That's what needs to happen in order to get a stranglehold on the rate of inflation that we're seeing. Now, my personal belief is that while Jerome Powell, I think, for the most part, has done kind of a good job in some of this, he's definitely stumbled in other areas. Hindsight's always 20/20. But I think he's a dove at heart. I don't think that he has Volcker in him. I don't know that he is going to have the stones to be as aggressive as his language came out. But the market thinks that he's going to continue to be aggressive. And because of that, mortgage rates pop back up. So while we were hovering between 5 and 5.5%, now we're close to 6% on a 30-year fixed. So that really hurts buyers and their affordability. Because of those interest rates being as high as they are, our demand continues to be lower than normal, but it has bottomed out. So we were in this free fall, and over the last month or so, because rates settled in that 5 to 5.5 range, demand really started to level out. It wasn't going up, but it stopped crashing. Now that rates are back up at 6, will we see demand start to fall again? I don't know, but probably some. I think that it will, because it's just impacting that buyer affordability. So we may see demand still have yet more to fall. What is good is the number of listings on the market has stopped increasing. So while demand was going down, at the same time, we had supply going up, right? So those two lines were getting further and further away from each other. Well, that supply line has peaked. And a few months ago, if you reference back, I was predicting that before too long it would peak, and it has. So we are settling down in the greater Phoenix area, right just shy of 18,000 active homes on the market. Well, in a traditional market that is balanced between buyers and sellers, where demand is normal, not below normal like it is now, we should still have a lot more inventory on the market. So technically we are still in a low inventory environment, but because demand is below normal, it is currently a balanced market. This is the first balanced market that we've seen between buyers and sellers since 2014. This is the best market we've seen for buyers in years. So right now, while rates are still high, if you are in a position where you can afford that monthly payment as a buyer, this is your playground. This is the best market that we've seen for you in a really long time. You have no investor competition at all. In fact, BlackRock just came out and said they were pulling out of 38 different cities across the country. Now, Wall Street makes up a very small percentage of the overall purchases, but they're sitting on the sidelines with their cash. They are raising money because they plan on jumping back in. Now, if you have a much longer time horizon than they do and you're buying this home to live in, not necessarily as an investment, that's why it's a good time to buy, because you're not competing with those cash buyers. And because there is so little buyer competition, you can really beat up a little bit on sellers. If you're working with the right agent, you are getting closing costs covered. Your pain point right now is your monthly affordability because of the interest rate. Well, let's negotiate with the seller, get them to buy your mortgage rate down, and put you in a position where your monthly payment is a lot more affordable. We're getting new roofs. We've had clients, buyers sign contracts stating that they're not going to ask for repairs, and guess what? we still ask for repairs, and we're getting credits for things like new roofs, paying off solar, we're getting sewer lines replaced, new AC units, all kinds of stuff. So sellers are giving buyers a lot in order to sell their home, because sellers have made a ton of money over the last 2 or 3 years in the form of appreciation. So they are giving away some of that value to the buyers in order to get them in the house. So again, I reiterate that this is the best market we've seen for buyers. The only pain point is that higher interest rate. We have things that we can do on the negotiating side to make that much more affordable for you as a buyer. As a seller, this is more important right now than ever to market your property properly. That's professional photos, that is proper staging and having the home clean. Presentation matters now more than ever. We have a property that is currently active on the market, and it's not getting any interest because the seller wasn't interested in putting in new carpet. And you can tell in the photos that it needs new carpet. Well, we have gone about 45 days and we're priced competitively, but we're not getting any offers because of that. Buyers are choosing other homes around them that don't need the work that his does. So we are getting him to install that new carpet. We're gonna retake photos and we're gonna re-release the home to the world to hopefully get buyers more interested in the property. So that presentation part matters now more than ever. Ultimately, the fundamentals in the housing market haven't changed, right? The demand for housing is there. It's the affordability that's pushed people on the sidelines and the uncertainty that exists within our world currently, right? There's the uncertainty of whether or not we'll enter into a recession, which I believe we will if we're not already in one. And typically when recessions hit, housing does well. Home values continue to go up because those interest rates go back down. And as a buyer that's sitting on the sideline, if you can afford a home now, why would you wait until rates go down where everybody else is waiting and they're gonna jump back in and listing inventory has peaked? It will start to go down significantly if all the people who want to buy homes suddenly can now afford it because rates went down. We're going to enter into the same environment that we just got out of, where multiple offers, homes are getting bid up over list price. That could happen again. So if you are sitting on the sidelines waiting for those lower rates but can afford to buy now, jump in now and refinance later. So things to pay attention to this month is the rate of inflation. So inflation for August will come out. Now, if that number is better than what economists in the Fed are expecting, then I believe that Jerome Powell will increase rates by 0.5%. If it's worse and doesn't go down, heaven forbid it goes up, then I think Jerome Powell will increase rates by 75 basis points. If you see a 0.5% increase, then I think mortgage rates will soften a little bit, and I think you'll see a little pop in the S&P 500 as well. So it's all going to hinder on that rate of inflation. As the rate of inflation goes, that's where mortgage rates will go. So let's hope that that rate continues to soften and go down. Our economy is basically hanging on by a thread. If there are any other exogenous events that we don't see coming, I mean, things could get a lot worse before they get better. But don't let that scare you. Again, buying a home, we've drilled it into you. Our industry has done a poor job of telling you that this is an investment. While it is, it's also a place to live, and your horizon is a lot longer than what's happening in, the micro of it all. So if you are still wanting to purchase a home, I believe that this is the best market for buyers that we've seen since 2014. If you're wanting to sell a home, it is no different than trying to sell in just a normal market. It just takes work and it takes time, and we're not used to that after the last 2 or 3 years. So contact professionals, that's what we're here for. If you do have any questions on the housing market or the economy, please reach out to me. Don't forget to give this a like and subscribe, and I will see you next month.